Hello and welcome everyone to another session of the DataHour series. We are thrilled to be here with you this afternoon for a session full of action-packed learning. I am Shishir, part of the data science team at Analytics Vidhya, and I will be the moderator for this session. For those who have joined us for the first time, a brief introduction about the DataHour sessions. The DataHour is a series of webinars conducted by Analytics Vidhya, led by top industry experts. It's a fun way to understand the concepts of data science from the leading players in the data tech domain. And as the name suggests, it is 1 hour dedicated to data. We are hopeful that these sessions are going to be a great source of enrichment and value adding for our community members. Now, on to our session today, which is how to transition into data science. In this data hour, you will discover how you can successfully transition into a data science job and build a solid career profile in it. In this edition of Data Hour, we have with us Sutirth Chakraborty from Mumbai, India. Sutirth is currently head of data science and analytics at Abbott and has over 20 years of experience in statistics, machine learning, healthcare research, and development and product management. Prior to joining Abbott, Sutirth was associated with Enfins Lab Private Limited as a senior director of engineering. In the past, Sutirth has worked with GlaxoSmithKline and Novartis as a data science leader. Sutirth has masters in applied statistics and data analysis from Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, and also has a PhD in biostatistics from the University of Louisville, USA. Sutirth, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thanks for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I would welcome you all to this session. I don't think you can see my video. Let me turn on the video. I guess you can see me now. Just show a raise of your hands if you can see me. Okay, great. Well, welcome to this exciting learning session. And the topic obviously is very much interesting. And everyone wants to know about this, that, how should we move into a data science role? And I'll start the session by saying that just erase all your preconceived notions about this topic, whatever you have gathered in the past from other people regarding this transition, and start learning it afresh from this session. I am saying this because I think that will be the way in which you'll be able to make the most out of this session. So without any further delay, I'll start. So the first thing that I would like to tell you is that this field, data science, that we all know today is basically an interdisciplinary field that has evolved over time. I would say from about 2012, 13, 2014, that year onwards, and it has continued. And it's still continuing today. And it's basically based on the foundations of statistics, machine learning, programming, and data engineering, right? So these are the four pillars, and I would add one more pillar on it as well, which I would say consulting. So I would say these are these 5 pillars on which data science stands. So it's basically an interdisciplinary field which stands on these 5 pillars of statistics, machine learning, programming, data engineering, and consulting. Now, see, if you think about it this way, you will now say that, okay, these fields used to exist previously also, like about 10 years back, or say even 15 years back also, people used to get jobs as statisticians. People used to get jobs as machine learning, researchers or something like that. People used to get jobs as consultants. But then why suddenly did all these things come together to now, create this interdisciplinary field of data science? Well, that happened because over the last, I would say, around 7 to 8 years, the volume and the velocity of data that has been generated by multiple industries has increased tremendously. And this increase has been so much that naturally there was an urgent need and demand for people who knows 3 things very well. One is how to handle these kinds of huge data sets, how to perform analysis on these kinds of data sets, and how to pick or even develop new methods, new statistical methods, new machine learning methods, or pick the best existing methods out of these two branches to solve various real world problems based on these data sets. And at the same time, the need was also there for such people who would be able to translate this generated insights from this analysis on these huge data sets into some actionable business insights for the state, for the commercial, for the business stakeholders. So that's why I say it's basically standing on the pillars of statistics, machine learning, programming, and consulting. So having said that, now let's dive into the current picture of the data science and how it is used across multiple industries, and what's the best way to sort of make a great career in it, right? So the first thing that I would like to start here is that you have to first understand that what is your objective behind moving into a data science career. And this question needs to be answered very clearly on a personal basis. Why do I say that? That is because suppose that you are a person who has come from an MBA background, has a strong commercial profile, like commercial career profile, and suddenly suppose that you have done it, you have been in this profile for the past 5 years, or say you have been in this profile till say like 2016 or 2017, and then suddenly you want to be a data scientist now, you suddenly want to move into data science now. Why? You have to ask yourself this question, like, why do you want to move into data science now? What's your objective of moving into data science? Is it because data science jobs are very high paying? Is it because data science jobs are extremely interesting and exciting? Or is it something else? Like maybe you are just curious to try another career option. So you have to be very clear about this answer. And once you get the answer to this question, the path afterwards would be decided based on that answer. So for example, suppose that it's the first case that you basically want to move into a data science job. Okay, I think somebody has a question. Ankush, Parkhat, you can ask. Ankush, can you hear me?
Actually, the participants have been muted, so they can write down their questions in the Q&A section.
Okay.
You can take up from there.
Sure. So Ankush, you can write the question on the chat, and I will definitely try to answer the question to my best abilities. Yeah. Okay. So till Ankush types, we will continue the discussion. So suppose that you want to move into a data science job because it's a very high paying job and currently is in fashion, like it's sort of the hottest hottest job of the 21st century or something like that. And for all those reasons. And that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. But okay. All right. Let me answer this question. So there's a question that does domain knowledge also play a role in data science? Well, yes, it does. It definitely does. I mean, so for example, if somebody is coming from a traditional statistics or a traditional computer science machine learning background, that definitely helps a lot. But that doesn't mean that somebody who is not from this background cannot move into a data science job. Definitely not. I mean, definitely that doesn't mean that. So, okay, sure. Yeah. Okay. So what I was saying is like, you have to be really clear about the answer to why you want to move into data science. And supposing that you want to move into a very high paying job compared to what you're currently doing. So now the next question comes is, there are different ways of making it happen. So suppose you are currently working in some kind of a commercial job profile in the business sphere in some company, and you are earning some amount of money every year, a salary. And now you want to move into a data science job because you see that data science jobs are paying a lot of salary. So then you have to see that if you want to increase your salary, if that is your primary objective, like, behind moving into a data science job, there are different ways of doing it. One is you can either see that in your current company, how can you use data science knowledge to excel in there. So for example, maybe it can happen that in your current job only, you will get a big promotion because, or maybe you are promoted from an individual contributor to say a team lead or a people manager who would be managing a new team of data scientists and data engineers that the company is now looking to build within that department where you currently work. Now that's a great opportunity. So in that case, you don't even need to leave your company and go to a completely new data science job in some other company. You can start this journey right from your current company, right? And that will definitely come with a raise, you will get that, and but you will still be strongly attached to your current job profile, as in like the business commercial side of it, which you were handling, right? So this is one aspect of it. I would say that if only getting a high salary is your primary intention, data science is not the only way. There are other ways also by which you can increase your salary, and maybe even more, depending on your background. If increasing your salary is the only objective why you want to move into a data science job, like assuming that you are not from a traditional, uh, data science, like a traditional statistics or computer science machine learning background. Now moving to the other answer, like suppose it is not money, but you want to move into data science because you are very much passionate about it. You are curious, you want to do some exciting projects that would enable you to like handle and analyze, explore huge volumes of data and generate insights, like as in business insights based on those analyses, and then communicate those insights to the business stakeholders. And that definitely is a very, very exciting job. And if that is your goal, then there are different other options as well. So for example, assuming that you have no background in data science, assuming that there are you have no background in data science, like no statistics or machine learning background. So in that case, how would you do that, right? So the first thing that I would say is that there are some tricks here that would, and obviously these tricks will vary based on your current background. So suppose I'm talking about a person who has done, say, a BTech in mechanical engineering, right? And suppose is a fresher, he just graduated from some engineering college in India and now wants to move into a data science job. Okay, now how should that person get into data science job? So the first thing that the person needs to understand is like how to make the most use of what he has learned in the 4 years of engineering. Suppose that it is mechanical engineering. Okay, then what would be the best way? I mean, because this guy obviously doesn't have any experience. I mean, just a fresher, right, who just graduated from college with a BTech in mechanical engineering. So in this case, the best option would be to really try and evaluate your profile. Like profile as in, what projects have you done in your 4 years of engineering? Do any of these projects have any industry scalability? Like, are there companies? Yeah, sure, I'll be taking the questions. Absolutely. Like, can you make the most use of the experience that you have had in your 4 years of mechanical engineering and see if there are already some companies where like you can get the maximum leverage out of it, right? So something on that context could be, say, a medical devices company, like, or maybe an automobile company where mechanical engineering, some various concepts of mechanical engineering might be useful. So here I'm talking about domain knowledge, which is industry specific. I'm not talking about data science domain knowledge here. I'm talking about industry specific domain knowledge. And that definitely gives an edge to you if you have that, to move into a data science job in a similar industry, which will get you the maximum leverage out of whatever you have already learned in your 4 years of engineering, like mechanical engineering. So this is one way, and this is one trick. The second trick is, now suppose that, okay, you have identified some automobile companies where you have said that, okay, I want to work in these companies uh, as a data scientist. What's the next job? It's not like you can't apply to other companies which have got nothing to do with mechanical engineering. It's just that maybe that the chances of it would be a little bit higher if there is some kind of an intersection of what you have learned and on what you are going to do the job in the company where you are joining as a data scientist. So other than that, assuming that this thing is not quite working out, so there are obviously other ways as well to move into a data science job. Okay, I'll now take one of the questions. This is from Arbaz. Can you help us with a proper roadmap and study material and
Hello, Sudhir.
sources?
Sorry to interrupt. Actually, we have a Q&A section in this Zoom wherein people have posted their question.
Sure.
Chat.
I'll be answering them one by one. Let me do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll start with this, the latest question. Can you help us with a proper roadmap and study material and sources through where we can learn? Sure, absolutely. See, the first thing that I would say is this roadmap, study material, and everything depends on your background. So I'm assuming that you're a fresher, like with no experience. So if that is the case, then the first thing that you should be doing is try to get your hands on that data, like as many different kinds of data as you can. And the best way to do that is to try, a website like kaggle.com. So Kaggle hosts these regular competitions where they, deposit various kinds of huge data sets, like various kinds of big data sets. And you don't have to participate. I mean, like, you don't have to be a gold master, like, grandmaster in that competition. You don't have to be a winner of that competition. You can simply pick one of those competitions, whichever interests you, or say some competition that might be closely related to a company, to the work that a company does, where you want to move as a data scientist, or where you aspire to move as a data scientist, right? So, and why did I say that? I could have said that, okay, take a course on statistics, take a course on machine learning, take something like that. Those things are definitely important. But what I feel very strongly is that when you do not come from a traditional statistics or machine learning background, it becomes very hard for you to even understand when you take a completely new statistics or machine learning course. Because I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, what somebody has learned over hard work of, say, more than 6 or 7 years, you can't learn that just from a course in say 6 months. It's impossible. So that is not possible. What is possible is, how can you learn those techniques in statistics and those techniques in machine learning and their inner workings in such a way so that you can implement them on some industry scale data sets and generate actionable insights out of them. That's what matters the most in this context. And that's exactly where I would say, and that's exactly why I say that start with the data, because data science starts with data. It doesn't start with either machine learning. It doesn't start with even statistics. The very word data science starts with data. So you have to first get your hands on the data, whatever data comes to you. And Kaggle is one of the best resources for that. You get so many different kinds of varied kinds of huge databases, huge data sets, completely free of cost. You can just simply sign in and you have your data set. Pick a competition, download the data set on your local computer, just play around with the data, right? Now, yes, when you play around with this data, one thing that definitely is important is you should have programming skills, right? Because you need to explore the data. Now, if you do not have any programming skills, like assuming that you are from a completely different background, probably the last time you heard about the term programming was in, say, in school, like, and you completely got out of touch, like after that. So if that is the case, if that is the case, then you would have to take up some kind of an online course in programming. I mean, say, and for data science, definitely I would say Python is the one that you should root for. R definitely is extremely important, but R is not a must-have. But Python in today's data science industry is a must-have skill set. So you can take up a course in Python, a Python course, in data science context, and that will, as you practice regularly, you take that course, and practicing is immensely important. So what you can do is, so the roadmap would be something like this: that you take a Python course. Another language that you should also learn is SQL. So I would suggest taking a Python course for data science, SQL course for data science. There are many such courses, online, but pick the ones which are like, really good. I mean, I don't want to promote any particular course, but I mean, in my opinion, I have seen that, courses from Coursera are very good, and definitely some other companies as well, they also offer very good courses. So you can take these courses. So on one hand, take a Python for data science course and Python for SQL for data science course. Both these two languages are immensely important, because SQL helps you in data handling, in data extraction, data pulling from huge databases, and doing it in a fast and efficient manner, so that you can immediately start formatting the data into a shape which is ready for further downstream analysis. And Python, on the other hand, completely focuses on the downstream analysis part once the data extraction and pulling has been done using SQL. And obviously here I'm talking about relational databases, I mean, which is the simplest one. There are other kinds of databases as well, but for beginners, I would suggest taking an online course of Python in data science, SQL in data science. Learn these two courses simultaneously, and at the same time, try this Kaggle. Try and download this Kaggle competition data sets, and start, testing your newly learned programming skills in Python and SQL, Python especially in the case of Kaggle, to play around with this data. And also Lead Code is another very good resource where you can practice Python and SQL questions for data science problem statements, projects, and that should be good enough. So if you can continue practicing Python, SQL, and just try to implement that learned Python SQL knowledge on a regular basis on Kaggle datasets, and start generating different kinds of tables, plots, graphs, different kinds of new insights, you would be off to a great start. And I think this should take up, you should spend about, I think, at least 3 to 4 months in this. And obviously practice is the most important thing. It shouldn't be like, okay, you take a course and then you do it for a week and then you get lost in some other activity. It has to be consistent. You have to regularly keep practicing, and then only you will, with time, you will see how your efficiency improves. And as you get more clarity about these things, and once you are able to, so after 3 to 4 months of spending time here, you would see that you know Python and SQL now quite well, good enough. Obviously won't know Python and SQL as good as like a computer science scientist. They have been learning it for many more years, but you would be able to get good enough to solve data science projects. That much is enough. Okay, so once you get to that point, now you can start looking into different kinds of like statistics and machine learning methods, and start learning about them. I'm spending a lot of time on this question, especially because it's a great question, and I feel a lot of people would love to know the answer to this question of what should be the roadmap of transitioning into a data science job profile. So next, after spending like 3 to 4 months in the initial phase where you learn Python, SQL, and test your knowledge on Kaggle datasets, generate new kinds of tables, graphs, plots, insights, based on that analysis. The next part after spending this 3 to 4 months is like, diving into different kinds of methods, like as in statistics and machine learning methods. So I will suggest you a channel in YouTube. It's called StatQuest. This channel is basically by a professor of statistics at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in US. And it's a beautiful channel. I mean, this guy has posted like, I think, hundreds of videos, like beautiful videos, which explain very complicated statistics and machine learning methods and concepts in very, very simple ways, with beautiful graphs, pictures, cartoons, songs, and this kind of. This is beautiful. Like, you should definitely check out this channel, StatQuest. It's by this professor named Josh Starmer. And yes, exactly, StatQuest by Josh Starmer. So follow the videos. Even Josh has recently, I definitely will. So Josh has recently come up with a book, and I would definitely recommend you all to buy that book. It's called The Illustrated Guide to Machine Learning. So it has the, like, you can say a blueprint of whatever he has in those videos in the form of a very nice comic book kind of a thing. And that will definitely help you in learning various complicated, like some of the most widely used and complex statistical and machine learning methods and concepts behind those methods in a very simple way. Okay, so yes, double bam is the word that it says all the time, and I really love that. And I feel that his videos are excellent. I myself have learned so much from this channel. So okay, so after 3 to 4 months of the initial phase, this is the next phase when you start learning about these methods from StatQuest, this YouTube channel, and there are other YouTube channels as well. I would tell you not to focus on many channels, but I would really recommend to, focus your attention primarily on this StatQuest channel by Josh Starmer, because you can definitely watch other channels. But the thing is, I feel that might, create confusion. That might, because not everybody will explain the same concepts in the same ways. Many people can have different ways of explaining the same statistical or machine learning concept. So that might get you confused since you do not have any background in statistics or machine learning. So I would really, suggest you to focus on the StatQuest channel for the methods. Okay, somebody asked me the name of the book. So it's called The Illustrated Guide to Machine Learning. I will just say Illustrated Guide to Machine Learning by Josh Starmer. Okay. Okay. Yes. So somebody has asked that, tell me a channel for learning Python. See, for Python, I would, there is somebody called Mosh. There is a channel by somebody named Mosh for Python who has some Python courses. So, but I would suggest that, learning Python from an online video is not easy. It's rather, it's better to take an actual course in it, because you have to constantly practice. You have to constantly practice and test your knowledge in Python. And an online course is best for that. So there are definitely, I mean, if you just search with like Python for data science in YouTube, 100 different videos will pop up. But that will simply get you more confused. I mean, that's not the best way, I would say. So back to what I was saying, I'm definitely going to come to the other questions in a moment. So this part of watching the StatQuest channel and learn about statistics and machine learning methods and the concepts behind them is the phase 2. After the initial phase of 3 to 4 months of spending time in learning Python SQL courses and testing the knowledge on Kaggle datasets. So this would take another, I would say, 2 to 3 months of time. So you have 4 months, say, in phase 1 in the initial phase, then say 3 months more in this, 3 to 4 months more, I would say 4 months in this second phase, which takes about 8 months time. So after this 8 months, you would now have like very high confidence in that. Okay, so now I know Python, I know SQL, I know both of these programming languages good enough to handle big data sets and to analyze those big data sets and generate insights out of it. And at the same time, I also have knowledge now about different statistics and machine learning methods from this StatQuest channel. And now I can start implementing these methods on newer data sets, right? So this is a second phase, okay? Uh, I'll come to the third phase, but I think there are too many questions. Let me start answering these questions, but then I'll come to the third, and I would say the final phase of this roadmap, okay? Uh, okay, so let me see. Srikanth has asked, hi, I have 16 years of experience in IT industry, in data analytics, business intelligence tools, and also done my MTech in data science. But when I look for job, they look for data science projects, work to give opportunity for data scientist role. So how I gain the experience in data science, real practical projects without actually working as data scientist role? This is a great question, Srikanth. Thank you so much for asking this question. And I'm sure all our participants would be eager to know the answer to this question. So guys, see, this is a problem. And I agree that in the recruitment industry, this is a big problem, that, people ask for experience and they are not ready to trust people who have a lot of passion to work as a data scientist, but just because they have not worked in a similar job, they don't have that experience. I feel that this should not happen, but it's just the nature of the business, guys. I mean, business runs on a demand supply game. They want the best people because they know those are the people who needs the minimal amount of training and supervision and can deliver the best results in a small amount of time, which is required for their business. So it's completely fine from their perspective. But let's now talk about, like, how can you actually make it happen? How can you get a data science job in that way? So the first thing that I would suggest there is, so for you, Srikanth, I would say that, since you have an MTech in data science, you have experience in IT industry in data analytics and all. So one thing that I can say is there are two things that you can do. One is, in your current company only, try to see if there is any department where there is some new project that is coming up or about to come up. It could be in your current department also, or in some other department where some new project is coming up or about to come up, which would require a very, which is like a very, very interesting data science problem statement with a huge business impact. Now, this business impact thing is very important, guys, in the corporate perspective. There are many data science projects, and many of them are beautiful and very interesting projects, but not all of them do have a great business impact in terms of the ROI, or return on investment. And ROI is what matters the most to the company leaders. They don't care about how beautiful a problem statement is or how beautiful a solution you have developed. They care about the ROI. So having said that, I would suggest you, Srikanth, to pick a project in your current company, either in your current department or some other department, or at least search, talk to people, network with people from other department to find if they are currently working on or anticipating any incoming project where the problem statement has a huge business impact, right? So when you do that, you might say that, okay, I have this expertise, I would love to get involved in this project. Now, sometimes what happens is that, people are not that welcoming to people from other departments, and sometimes they are welcoming. So depending on your situation, you would have to navigate. So if it is very easy for you to move to that other departments, not like permanently, but at least, try to get your hands on that data and help. And in case, since you have an MTech in data science, I think it should be easy for you. It shouldn't be that hard. So you can get involved in that project and, start solving that problem statement. But picking the right problem statement is very important. Like, make sure that it's a problem statement that has a huge business impact, right? Because then when you complete it, you can write it in your CV that, okay, I have solved this problem statement and this has achieved this huge business impact, leading to this much amount of, increment in this business performance metrics, or this much amount of ROI. That's the kind of words which should be there in your CV, right? I mean, recruiters, let me tell this to you guys, recruiters who search for data scientist candidates on LinkedIn, they or on other profiles or other sites, they focus primarily on this part, on the business impact part. I mean, they would simply scan your resume in a minute or even in 30 seconds and simply search for those important keywords which talk about the business impact that you have had with your data science project work. So make sure that you do that. So this is one way in your current organization. The other way that you can try is you can try to develop some kind of a collaboration by talking to some researcher, some PhD scholar, or some professor in some research institute or some university. So for example, it could be IIT, it could be IISc, it could be triple IT, like in Indian Institute of Information Technology in Hyderabad, or any other, like, very reputed university, where you can say that, okay, I'm interested in working on a data science project on some interesting problem statement, which has a big business impact. And you can work in the guidance of a professor, like along with working in the company, like just on a project, on a collaboration. And that could lead to a publication, that could lead to a paper, and maybe even a software, right? And you can then write it, on your CV. And I'm sure that, that will definitely help you get get your profile shortlisted or even get selected for a data scientist job. And I hope that has answered your question, Shrikant. Okay. Okay. Next question. Let me kindly guide, as I am electrical engineer. I have experience of 5 years and want to move to data science because of growth problem. Because please guide me how to plan accordingly. So this question is from Utkarsh. So yeah. So Utkarsh, I would suggest you that, since you are an electrical engineer and you have experience of 5 years, I don't know in which field you have this experience of 5 years. Is it very closely related to electrical engineering, or is it something else? So if it is very closely related to electrical engineering, and suppose that you have, and you are saying that, okay, cable designing. Okay. So if it is in cable designing, so you would be making like a brand new move into the data science career now, right? So so the best way, and you're saying that there is not enough growth, right? So see, I mean, I alluded to this point right in the beginning, that you have to ask yourself this question: is there not any growth opportunity in your current company or in your industry? Like, for example, I mean, are you sure that there is no growth opportunity in any other company using cable design, that where you have 5 years of experience, right? So if that is the case, that you say, okay, in the entire in industry where cable designing is required, there is not much growth opportunity, then it makes sense that you want to move into data science. But if it is like, okay, in my company there is no growth opportunity, but in other companies there might be other better opportunities which will pay you a much higher salary and give you even a promotion. So because you have 5 years of experience in cable designing, that should not go waste, is what I'm trying to say. So really try to make the most out of that. And see, there are two things, guys, and limited companies are there in India. Okay. See, there are two things, guys. And people basically fail to evaluate in this particular point. One thing is for you to actually move into a proper data scientist job, which has the designation of a data scientist. This is one thing. There is another thing where you do not move into a data scientist job, but in your current job, you use data science to excel in your career. Both are great ways to excel in your career, guys. And it is nowhere written, it is not true at all that becoming a data scientist is the only way to make a career in data science. You can be in your current field as well, but use data science knowledge, use data science experience that you have acquired through that roadmap that I was talking about to excel in that particular job, to bring new insights to that particular job. Because see, guys, I mean, data science starts with data, and data is at the heart and center of every industrial operation, regardless of whatever industry there is. Maybe that has not been the norm, say, 10 years back. Now we are learning about these opportunities because since every company is talking about data science, about digitization, every company is trying to do something on that space. So I'm sure even in cable designing also, there might be opportunities where I'm just, hypothesizing this thing, but I'm pretty sure that my hypothesis is correct here. Even in cable designing also, there might be a way in which you can use some kind of a data, maybe say some kind of commercial data related to cables or cable designs, or maybe even say effectiveness of different kinds of cable designs from other competing companies. And you can use this data, you can use your data science knowledge and experience to analyze this data and generate new business insights, which might take you to huge, like big levels, like which might take you to new levels in your current company. So this would mean that you are not moving to a data scientist job, but you are just using your data science knowledge to perform better at your current work that you're doing in your company. So this is the second way. This is also a possibility. Okay. Now, assuming, okay, I'll now go to the other questions. I think, Utkarsh, your question is answered, hopefully. And now, assuming that you don't want to move into, you don't want to be in the cable designing industry, you want to change gears and move to a data science, then I would like to tell you one thing here, that then your 5 years of experience won't be leveraged that optimally. So that would basically mean that now you are going for something completely new, and that is good too. There is no harm in that. But for that, you might need to, spend some more time in preparation, and in really, and the roadmap still remains the same. It's just that you will need to spend some more time, do some projects, and then start your journey on searching for a data scientist job. Okay. Okay. Another question is, how can a data science help a business analyst? How can data science help a business analyst? This question is from Ramesh. So Ramesh, I would say that, all these are terms like data scientist, business analyst. Obviously, their work responsibilities vary, from one profile to another profile. And a business analyst's main work is to basically understand the business context of various projects very well and deliver on them by generating insights based on data analysis. So data science definitely, statistics and machine learning is definitely the tools that you would be using there. Now, yeah, obviously, if you have data scientists to work with you, then you don't need to do that part. Data scientists will do that for you. But if you are a business analyst who will have to do the entire thing all by yourself, then you would definitely need data science knowledge. I hope that helps. Okay, this question is an interesting one from Sindhu. I have a 9 years of career gap. I would like to start my career again. Can you suggest how can I start my career in data science, and will I be able to get the opportunities? On what areas I need to concentrate more? Do I need to do more internships? Well, Sindhu, thank you so much for this question. It's a great question, and I'm sure the audience would love to hear answer to this question. And for many people, this definitely is a situation where they are planning to join corporate after a big career gap. So, and it's great to see, it's great to hear that you want to start your career in data science after 9 years of career gap. So congratulations, all the best. I'll now start my answer of how you can do it. See, I mean, for that, it would definitely help me if you can tell me, like, what is your background? Like, what have you worked on in the past? Like, what is your academic profile and background? If you could just tell me quickly, I can give you the answer to this question in the best possible way. Okay, BTech in computer science. Okay. So Sindhu, I would say that if you have a BTech in computer science, you are off to a great start already, because although it has been a 9 years of career gap, but you have that 4 years of experience in computer science and programming and their basic concepts that you can really pick up if you're really passionate and interested about it. So you're already off to a good start. So that definitely is true here. Now, what I would suggest you is the first thing is that, I mean, I don't know if you're currently doing any internship. If you are, it's great. I mean, internships would definitely, internships would definitely help you brush up your skills and also help you, like, in terms of practicing your acquired data science knowledge and experience, your programming skills, your data analysis skills on a regular basis. So it would definitely help. And assuming, okay, so Sindhu, you're saying that I have 2 years of experience in testing. So I'm assuming that you are a quality assurance. You have been a quality assurance engineer, and maybe in manual testing or automation testing. So I know this because my wife is also in the similar domain, so of software testing basically. So okay, great to know that. So yeah, I mean, now if you want to move into data science, see, the uh, one thing that I can recommend you, I think that would make sense, is especially I think it applies to you or people like you the best. People who are joining after a long career gap, they should really ask. I mean, once again, back to the first point that I raised when I started this webinar, is they should really ask themselves, like, why are they joining? Why do they why do they want to move into a data science career, to a data science job? Uh, is it because of some other reason, because they want to earn money, they want to do some, like, work in some corporate job, or is it because they really have a passion for data science? These two are two very different things. So, and what the answer is on that, the strategy depends. For me, I would say that for people who are joining after a long career gap, I can say that, with some amount of conviction, that for them it's definitely the passion thing. They're definitely passionate about data science or something. That's why sort of, they are they're wanting to move into data science. So for that, I would say that, if it is a passion thing that for which you want to move into data science, so the first thing that I can suggest is, there is currently so much of competition, so much of crowd from candidates who like are aspiring to get a data scientist job or a data science job. If you go out to the job market right now and try to search for a job, chances are high that your profile would be turned down because you have had a 9 years of career gap. It's quite honestly the most probable thing that will happen. But there are ways in which you can make a career in data science. So I would suggest, one of the best ways of doing that, once again, I would say, is to participate in a Kaggle competition. Uh, Try and analyze those data sets, draw insights from those data sets. This is one way. Like, in some way, you have to really get yourself acquainted with real world industrial projects across multiple industries. And depending on what your industrial interests are, you can always do that. So if you are, for you, I would say that it would make sense to, keep it pretty much open-ended, so that, like, you participate in some Kaggle competition. Because you have programming experience, you can do that. I mean, you can download the data set, write some quick Python code on it, and start analyzing the data, start deriving insights based on it. And as you do that, you will get more and more confidence. Now the next thing that you have to do is, once again, that, following a similar recipe, that an internship is a great way, if you can arrange that. And that would definitely give you some real world project experience from a corporate perspective, from an industry perspective, and also a research collaboration with some university professor or scholar or PhD researcher is also another great way to make it happen. But at the end of the day, what matters the most is that what recruiters actually look for when they are scanning a particular resume for a data scientist candidate is that, what projects, like, has this candidate worked on any projects and successfully completed those projects that has generated in some huge business impact. That's what matters the most to them, because that's the most important thing from a corporate perspective. So make sure that whatever project you do, whatever internship you do, you pick a project that, if solved, would generate a huge business impact for some industry. So that's what my answer would be. I hope that you have gotten the answer. Okay, so now to the other questions. I have around 12 years of experience as a QA, and I'm trying to look for a job in data science. Will I be treated as a fresher? Um, okay, there's one question from, I'm coming to that question. Another question from Sindhu. Yeah, you're welcome, Sindhu. So I would say that what you're saying, that what kinds of projects I need to choose. See, Sindhu, it depends on what kind of industry job preferences do you have. I mean, do you want to work for an e-commerce industry? Do you, I have my own YouTube channel where I have a video on this particular topic. So it depends on your interest. So if you are more keen on working in an e-commerce industry, then it's, you should choose one kind of projects. If you are more keen in working in, say, the healthcare industry where I work, it's another kind of projects. If you are more inclined in working towards a banking or financial industries, banking and finance, then it's another kind of projects. So it varies. It varies from one, based on what your industry preference is, to work as a data scientist or as a data science or in a data science job profile. So and I would say that I'm assuming that it is, say, e-commerce, because yes, obviously we all know that e-commerce in India, there are multiple great opportunities. We have Amazon, we have Flipkart, we have Walmart, we have Myntra, and several others, big e-commerce companies which offer great salaries to data scientists. Suppose it is that case. I'm just assuming because it is the industry which has like the most, I would say, the most highest paying data scientist jobs, maybe. So from that perspective, I would say that you should try to work on some project where you are dealing with longitudinal multivariate data. So what do I mean by longitudinal multivariate data? And this is not just for you, I would suggest it to all the participants to get your hands on these kinds of data sets. It's called longitudinal multivariate data sets. Longitudinal multivariate data sets are some of the most complex data sets that you would find in the data science world. Why? Because longitudinal multivariate data sets are data sets where you have information, where you have data on a large number of subjects, and on each subject you have data points on a large number of features, where each feature has been recorded on a number of time points. So you can see the complexity in this data, right? And the better you get in terms of analyzing these data sets, you would definitely have a lot of data science job opportunities, guys. And e-commerce companies do work with this kind of data a lot. So for example, like say customer transaction history, or say customer purchase history in say Amazon or Flipkart, like what kinds of products are customers buying the most, which category of products are customers buying the most, which kinds of customers shop the most on which times of the year, at what frequencies, at what times, on weekdays or on weekends, what are the patterns. So it's so much of complexity that's there that you will find in e-commerce data that is simply mind-boggling. So it's definitely a great way to get your hands on such a data. That will definitely, and if you can if you can solve some project, say for example, one very good use case in the e-commerce industry setting would be, say, can you predict the customer lifetime value for a certain specific profile of customer based on that customer's previous transaction history or previous purchase history from, say, Amazon? So suppose you shop from Amazon, you have been shopping from Amazon, say, since the last 3 years, or say last 4 years, and now Amazon wants to predict that what is your lifetime value to them. Because why this is important to Amazon is because accordingly they will put you in a certain channel, and would be designing some very specifically targeted marketing efforts to draw your attention towards certain categories of products, certain types of products that you have the highest probability of purchasing from Amazon. That's why it's so important to them. So if you can build a method that can predict the customer lifetime value based on the previous transaction history, this is a great project with a huge business impact. This would definitely make sure that Amazon is able to is able to predict the lifetime value or the retention probability of a particular customer who has been shopping from Amazon for a certain amount of time. Like, what you see the thing. So this is extremely helpful. So I think This is it's you are now clear about it, Sindhu. So okay, now moving to another question. So if a person who is stuck in his current job profile, being a mechanical engineer and no further growth in industry and experience more than 10 years, can change his job to data science, is it practically possible? So yeah, this question is from Nitin. So Nitin, what I would say is, see that once again, going back to that same question, why do you want to move into a data science job? You have to be very, very clear about the question, about the answer to this question. You have to ask yourself, why do I want to move into data science after spending 10 years in some other industry? You have gotten comfortable in that industry, you are doing well in that industry, then why do you want to move into data science? So this should be, it is possible, it is definitely practically possible, but you have to be clear about that why. I mean, if it is for like say like a, I don't know, a fast growing career, if it is for a fastly growing career, like faster promotions, higher salaries in a short amount of time, makes sense. And say along with that, you're also interested in data science, you want to do data science. So what I would suggest you is that don't think of a data science job as a get rich quick scheme. I mean, I'm just saying this, and I'm not saying this to you know I'm not saying this to just you, I'm saying this to everybody, to all the participants. Data science is not a get rich quick scheme. It is a field which has a lot of career opportunities, yes, but then you would need to know, like, how would you get into data science and what's the best mindset to have, for you to have, in order to make a career in data science. So I would say that if you are to if you have spent 10 years in one industry, and if the industry is not I mean, if you're saying that the industry is not performing that well, it's drowning. So I would say that best option is this, that try to, once again, try to do some project. uh, so I would suggest a quick recipe that I think would help all the participants to basically maximize your chances of getting selected for an interview of a data scientist job at a decent company, and even get shortlisted, even get selected in that job. So the recipe is this: that go to LinkedIn, go to jobs in LinkedIn, uh, search data scientist, and obviously no number of jobs would come. For a person who has almost no experience in statistics, machine learning, has 10 years of experience in some other industry, uh, it's better to keep that set a bit broad, big. So it's so the best thing would be search for the data scientist jobs. And if you are especially interested in, say, a particular type of industry, say it's the e-commerce industry, or say suppose it's the healthcare industry, whatever it is, or say it is a tech industry like Google, Facebook, right? So whatever the industry is, accordingly see what data scientist jobs do they have on LinkedIn. Suppose it is Google. Okay, suppose it is Google, and just see the job profile of the data scientists that they have uploaded on LinkedIn. So that would basically, okay, it's a power generation industry. Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about someone. Yeah. So yeah, so basically just see what jobs, or what is the job profile of the data scientist job, what are the minimal requirements, what are the minimum requirements. So for every LinkedIn job posting, you would see minimum requirements, preferred requirements, correct? So see what are the minimum requirements and what are the preferred requirements. Although they write preferred requirements is what they actually look for in candidates whom they see as promising for that position. So I would say that suppose it is Google data scientist job, and they say that, okay, in this particular job profile, you would be working in Google Maps. Suppose you would be working as a data scientist in Google Maps. So if that is the case, then you should start learning about the product, because Google ultimately is an internet product based company. It's a tech product based company. So you should start with Google Maps, see the different features in Google Maps, like study those features in detail, and learn about all the commercial aspects of Google Maps, like how does Google make money using Google Maps, right? You should get a solid idea of the product, and then sort of think about taking up a project that might help you, get at some distance in the preparation of this job. So for example, right now in Kaggle, there is a competition that's going on, which has been organized by Google, and it's called the Google Smartphone Decimeter Challenge. I mean, I'll just type. There was a previous version of this competition that was launched last year. This is the second phase of it. So it has been basically launched. It has been posted by Google on Kaggle. So you can see this. So if you're interested in a job in Google Maps, this challenge would definitely help you. So if you participate in this Kaggle competition, I'm just giving an example here. So they have wide variety of satellite navigation data sets, phone data sets like smartphone GPS data sets, and all these data sets. So you can try analyzing them and try to build a method like an algorithm that can solve that problem, this problem statement. So if you end up doing that, you can really showcase that in your CV. You can say that, okay, I have solved this. And then definitely Google for sure would be reaching out to you. Or if you apply to Google for that particular position, they will not turn your CV down. So this is what it is, guys. I mean, you guys really have to understand this thing. Simply writing a CV and sending it to some automated resume scanning system out on the internet makes no difference. Even if you send it to just do that online application via LinkedIn, you send the profile, they'll just, it'll just get tossed out because they have an automated screening system. And even if your CV is screened by a recruiter, I mean, if your CV doesn't have the right keywords to emphasize on the business impact part, they will simply toss out your CV. So the better option is that you have to understand very clearly what kind of a data science job you want, in which industry, in which company, in which department of that company. Like Google Maps is one specific department in Google, right? So if you are interested in a data scientist job in Google Maps, your preparation would be very different compared to what preparation you would take if you are applying for, say, a data scientist job in Google Assistant. Which Google Assistant is a different product of Google. So this is what, and accordingly, you would pick a particular project that you would try solving. And then if you are able to solve the problem statement by the grace of God, you can showcase that in your CV and then send that CV with that particular set of keywords highlighting that business impact. Then the recruiter will definitely not toss your CV out. That recruiter will most probably call you for an interview. And another option, obviously, if it is Google or for any other companies, to take referrals. Referrals work, guys. And let me tell you this thing from personal experience, referrals do work. They work greatly. And obviously, so try to search in LinkedIn for various kinds of people, data scientists who are working in these companies where you want to work as a data scientist, and send them a LinkedIn connection with a short, brief message that, it would be my pleasure to have you as in my connection. I would like to learn more from you. Just initiate that conversation. And after that, when they accept your friend request, simply send them a, very a nice message that, would you be willing, I'm interested in this particular position at Google, and this is my background, this is what my experience has been, and I'm very enthusiastic about data science. This is what recently I've achieved. So would you be willing to refer me? So they would, trust me, guys, in the majority of cases, people don't turn you down when you ask for a referral. So that is definitely a great way if you want to, get a data scientist job in a certain company. So this is what I would say. I think now it has answered your question. Okay. We are
sorry to
already
interrupt you. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt you, Sudhir. I
Sure.
think we are running short of time. So
Yeah.
at max, you can take one or two questions more.
Sure. I will just take two more questions and then we can end it. So the other people, all the questions are really great. You can, just send these questions to some other forum. I don't know. I'll try my best to send the answers and send out to you guys. Okay. And even you can post these questions on my YouTube channel as well. I mean, I can answer them by comments also. That is also there. So my YouTube channel's name is Data Science Passions. You can look it up on YouTube. Okay. All right, another question. Let me see. Okay, testing. No, I've already answered it. Okay. Okay, can you please tell the mathematics topics we need to concentrate more? Okay. Okay, this question, and I think I'll answer. I'll come to this question, Sindhu, but just one more question from Henry Yan. How do you think about the Coursera courses on machine learning and deep learning by Andrew Ng and DPI? I have not taken the machine learning course, but I have personally taken the deep learning course. And I can tell you from my own experience that it is extraordinary. It is unbelievably amazing. It has been taught in such a beautiful way by Professor Andrew Ng that I myself, if I talk about my personal experience, I felt like I'm sitting in the lecture theater of of Stanford University, and Professor Andrew Ng is teaching me this course in person in Stanford University. So it's very good, guys. I would strongly recommend to anyone this course, this deep learning course on Coursera by Professor Andrew Ng, if that person is really enthusiastic about deep learning. And I believe for anyone who has interest in data science, this definitely is a must-take course, is what I would say, especially if that person wants to work in deep learning. So, so for Sindhu, I would say that, can you please tell me the mathematics topics? Okay, very good question, Sindhu. I would give quick answers. Mathematics topics, I would say linear algebra, calculus, and I would say yes, that's it pretty much. If you, so I can tell you one thing, guys. If you have solid skills, you don't have to be a statistician or you don't have to be a machine learning engineer. If you have strong skills in linear algebra and calculus, I mean, picking up data science would be extremely easy for you, because majority of the concepts in statistics and machine learning are basically built on the foundations of linear algebra and calculus. For example, it's a deep learning. Deep learning is all about linear algebra and calculus. Various concepts in statistics, like for example, say histograms and like central limit theorem, various other kinds of things. I would say histogram, not really central limit theorem. Histogram is nothing but, it's nothing but something like a Riemann integral. It's the same kind of a concept derived from calculus, like integration, Riemann integration. So definitely, calculus and linear algebra is what I would suggest you guys to really have a strong background in. Just brush up those old books, old high school books of linear algebra and calculus, and have a passion towards this. So you have to understand this, that mathematics is the base. Statistics and machine learning stand on top of it, and on top of statistics, machine learning stands data science. So that's how the hierarchy goes. So I guess, you guys had a great session, and
thanks a lot, Satyet. On behalf of Manchester, I would like to thank you for your time and for delivering such a wonderful session. I was
thank you so
personally
much.
hooked to the screen for the past 1 hour, and I'm sure our audience found it insightful as well.
Thank you.
So,
I'm glad that I could help. Thank you so much.
thank you.